Welcome back, and with the new year, and we always make new year resolutions, we always seek happiness, and for that we have to think about how to establish happiness and how to be able to accomplish our resolutions, how to be able to embrace a new year, the year 2018, and fare or bid goodbye to 2017, review our goals, our aspirations, and our deeds, and see what we'd like to change in ourselves and in our way of life to reach happiness. And I'm happy to have with me Dr. Mirette Sokkary, and she's a happiness coach, as well as also, in addition to that, a human resources advisor as well. Welcome with us, Dr. Mirette.
Hello, how are you?
Dr. Mirette, of course, people come to you with negative energy all the time, and you have to transfer this negative energy into positive energy. It's a hard work for you. So how do you start from the beginning?
Actually, they don't come with thinking they have negative energy. They come with a problem. My relationships are bad. I'm always upset. I'm very angry. I have anger issues. I can't get married. I can't get promoted. Something is happening in their life. Physically, something is wrong. And the reason is because, not just because they're carrying the negative energy, that is the truth, but it's also their belief systems. So I start by first understanding what's going on, and we start finding the event that created this in their life. There's always something, it's a belief system. Maybe when they were young, they decided life has to be hard. We do this between the age of 0 and 7. We make decisions about life from things that happen to us or to our parents. We watch the world and we say, so life is hard, or men are bad, or getting money is really difficult, whatever we heard. And it becomes part of our life. And then it starts happening in our real life. So when we start to undo this learning, because this learning is it's like a virus on the computer. What I say I do is I remove the viruses. So we start with that.
Dr. Mirette, so you were talking about removing all the viruses, which are the negative energy within us. Now, I understand also that you have your own EFT technique, and you have several techniques to get rid of such negative energy, and also to be able to concentrate the positive energy. So now, as we're starting the new year, what's your advice to our viewers?
My advice, and this has been for 3 years, first of all, before entering the new year with new hopes and new resolutions, new goals, as we call them, and I prefer to call them desires, and we can talk about that in a bit, you have to get rid of all the stuff you're carrying, at least from last year. So if last year you had a desire or a goal that you will exercise 4 times a week maybe, and it didn't happen. So what's happening is you're carrying a lot of negativity with that, like, what if it doesn't work again? What if I just say I'm going to do it, I don't do it? What if I pay for the gym and it doesn't happen? We need to stop that using EFT, emotional freedom techniques, so that I start fresh with all the energy and the looking forward. Because we're carrying this and it's in the back of our mind, like, I tried that last year and it didn't work. And unfortunately, most people, it's not only last year. I've been trying to exercise for the last 10 years. So I have a lot of statements in my brain saying, you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed. And that is a lot of a heaviness. It's like you're pulling a lot of weight and then trying to succeed this year. Different from someone who this is the first year they say, I plan to exercise more. So I want to get them to that.
But Dr. Mirette, people are maybe filling themselves with positive energy and high hopes, but the daily life with its problems and the ups and downs, unfortunately, they fall easily a prey for depression. So how they face that?
The point is when you start practicing this tool called emotional freedom technique, it's a tapping technique. You remove these things, you start to see the world differently. Everything has 2 sides, by the way. So let's say that it's very crowded in the traffic. Somebody will see it very bad, and this is awful, and this is so much traffic in this country, da 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 da. And another person might think, wow, okay, that's the way it is. First of all, I'll change the way maybe I'll go down earlier or something. Second, this gives me a chance to listen to my music. This gives me a chance to have a talk with my child that's longer. They start to see the positive. So part of my work is helping people, first of all, getting rid of, with the technique, cleaning, and then there's a shift in the mind that starts to see things in a different way. So in everything in our life, there is a positive side. It's a matter of seeing it. In any event. I want to give you an example. Yesterday I was riding a long drive from Maadi. And something happened with the driver and something fell from another car. He almost had a very bad accident. But the young driver was amazing. He stopped the car. He took this thing, this huge bag that fell from a car, and he stood in the street and he actually walked towards the other man to give it to him. And then I sat in the car saying, another person would have been saying bad words and yelling and fighting, same event. But you decided to positively, and not only that, you took the bag and walked to the car. So it's about how we take things. And reality is, this is not me. You know, Harvard Medical School and Harvard School in the States now is one of the leaders now in happiness. There's a doctor who came out with a book called Happier, and many, many books. But Harvard is even studying happiness. Happiness starts all from how our mind thinks of every event, no matter what it is.
Now, with the tapping, I understand that it affects some certain pores in the body to remove the negative energy. So is it, as you've mentioned, connected to our brains in a sense? Because you mentioned that the emotions are also connected to the brain. Or is it more like relief from the body itself?
It relieves the body, and it also rewrites what's written, because everything is written in a kind of code. Mm-hmm. So the word emotion is actually energy in motion. So any emotion, kind of thought that led to an energy that goes through your system. So right now it's beautiful in front of this, the Nile. So the thoughts are how beautiful this country is. The energy is beautiful. Something good is happening in my body. If I was like thinking, I'm really, really scared about money, how am I going to pay? I don't know, the school fees, I'm worried. There's another kind of energy. So what we're using is the points are relieving this fear so that the energy returns to normalized, at least normalized. Because if you have a lot of negative energy, it's serious. You will develop some kind of disease because you're ruining the system.
Okay, Dr. Mirette, is the pollution a factor that also affects the psychological side of any person?
Pollution?
Yeah.
Are you talking about pollution?
Yeah.
It could if you let it be. So if you, it's all in the mind. You decide.
We are breathing.
Yes, you are breathing.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can say, even though the air isn't that nice or there's a bit of pollution in this place, I still choose to function well. I choose, we're very powerful beings. The choices by the mind is what happens. It sends messages to every single cell. They're called smart cells. They've proven this now. And it tells every cell, even though there's pollution and this oxygen I'm breathing in for you, but I want you to take the good part of the breathing. And there's a lot of work on that area too. I don't want to go too scientific. But really, when you read these words like happiness is a decision, it is a decision and it's a choice. Once you tell that, because it talks to every single cell. And God made us that our cells are smart.
Now, I'm quite interested in knowing, is it similar to the same techniques employed by Chinese, like using Chinese needles or the ideas of chakras, or is it a technique that's totally different from these methods in a sense?
No, it's based on that. We are touching points. They're called acupoints. They're similar to what acupuncturists would touch, or other people who'd use other ways. There's a lot of other things that are using this, also the acupoints. And this is helping, but there's something added to it. It's the way we speak. So we say, like, even though this is happening in my life, even though I'm really fearful about money, I choose to be okay. I choose to feel safe. And that sends a message to the brain that it's like you're really, really writing information in the brain. There's an information right now that says, I'm really scared, I don't know how to pay my fees, or I'm really worried. I want to erase that piece. Now the fact is the same, I have to figure out the money. But what happens is I calm down and somehow solutions come up. But at least I have to calm the system down. You cannot operate when the system is going like this.
How long does it take? I don't want to call him a patient, a person, a normal person. How many days does it take him to get rid of the negative energy and look to life with a different face?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that in two ways. Generally, we need to wash our face every day. So you're going to do it every day for 5-10 minutes, just like you wash, because of the different things that happen to you every day. So end of the day, maybe, I don't know, your car got hit, maybe you were late to work, maybe you didn't get the promotion, I don't know what happened in your life, maybe anything, maybe you burned the food, something happened, but even if it seems so simple, why leave it? So you're going to tap 5-10 minutes a day. Number two, if you do have an issue that you're carrying all your life, your parents were difficult, I don't know, something happened in your life, somebody was very unfair to you, this is something that might take 1, 2, 3, 5 sessions. And that's the amazing thing about this tool, because it's mind and body. So it's not psychiatry, it's not just talk, there's no medication, of course, and it's not just pure acupuncture either. They put them together, and by chance, it was a doctor in psychiatry in the States, and he found something weird happening, much faster. And it's just a revolution in the science of how to help people. So it might take 5, 10 sessions maximum. It will not take 6 months of therapy or a year, or sometimes people tell me 8 years of therapy on a certain issue, and it hasn't gone.
Yes.
EFT is very fast.
Yes, doctor, but that would relieve the negative energy right now. But what if the thoughts return to me? So do you sit with them and you talk with them in a way like a guidance, a counselor, like a counselor, so that when the thoughts come back, or when if it's a bad memory or a certain experience that affected their life, and sometimes it has repercussions that continue. So do you sit with them and tell them how to handle it as well later on? And is it only about the tapping, or also changing the state of their mind being in terms of how they think about these issues?
Okay. So if you experience good emotional freedom technique, you won't have the thoughts come back. Because what happens is, the fact is the fact. Let's say we were very poor and my mom died when I was 7 or 10. That's a fact. It's still there. But the problem is it has a lot of emotions attached. What we do is remove the emotions, so that when you remember, oh, my mom, you will be saying, oh, my mom did die when I was 10. But it will be like very neutral statement. It won't carry all this. So they won't come back. The other question is, no, we don't depend on a lot of talk. It's minimal. It's the tool that works. Because what happens is they've done something called functional MRI. They see, while they're tapping and talking, what's happening in the brain, what's lighting and what's quieting down. So you need to like quiet down those voices, and actually it cuts the links in that information. And then what's lighting is a new piece of information. So maybe the mind thinks, yes, my mom died when I was 10, but I had an amazing grandmother. Maybe I was so lucky. My grandmother was really amazing. You start to have what we call a shift, and the shift is very fast. All therapy, psychotherapy and stuff, and any other kind of talk therapies, they're trying to get you to shift. But this happens faster because of this tapping. And as I said, it came by chance. It's as if any discovery, this doctor, psychiatrist was trying this out with this, and like he was, what happened? This is really amazing.
Well, Dr.
And now
Mirette,
it's 35 years later.
Dr. Mirette Sokkary, happiness coach, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and Happy New Year, Doctor. And that brings us to the end of this segment, but we still have more on Nile Cruise, and now we will be enjoying together our artistic magazine.